Hare Krishna, Mataji. Are you able to see the screen, Mataji?
Hare Krishna, yes, Mataji, yes.
Yeah. So you can please start reading the fourth shloka, 5.4, Mataji.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
please.
Mataji. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Shloka 4. Sankhyo yogo prathak balaha pravadandi na panditaha ekam apyastithaha samya samyak ubhayor vindade phalam. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna, Mataji. Yeah, please
Shall
read.
I go ahead?
Yes, Mataji.
Only the ignorant speak of devotional service as being different from the analytical study of the material world. Those who are actually learned say that he who applies himself well to one of these paths achieves the results of both.
Yeah. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Oh, this is okay. Yeah. So here in this shloka, what are they saying? Um, Only the ignorant speak of devotional service, karma yoga, as being different from the analytical study of the material world, Sankhya. Those who are actually learned say that he who applies himself well to one of these paths achieves the results of both. Okay, so generally, some people say only karma yoga we can reach God, or they don't say that Sankhya is not, it cannot take us to that path. But here, Krishna is saying that both will lead you. If you take any one path, either karma yoga or Sankhya, both will lead you to bhakti. Okay, finally, you will go back to Godhead. So, how means what is the purpose of Sankhya? Purpose of Sankhya is to understand the root cause of everything. And what is the root cause of everything? Who is he? That root is Vishnu or Krishna, the super soul. Okay, so actually, and what is the purpose of karma yoga? Is to serve that same supreme lord through our work. Okay, so actually, Sankhya, what does it do? It helps us realize Krishna, that Krishna is the root. Identify through the knowledge, they find out that Krishna is the root. And in Karma Yoga, what do they do? Once they find that the root is Krishna in Sankhya, what do they do in Karma Yoga? They serve Krishna, the root. Okay, so what we have to understand is here, see, in Sankhya, the gnanis or the impersonalists, they stop. The thing is, they stop at impersonal Brahmajyoti. But if they continue further, they're honest, they can continue on the path of on the path and come to the end result, that is bhakti. Okay, but the sad part is most of the gnanis, they stop at impersonal Brahmajyoti. So they understand that they are the soul, there is super soul, everything. But in the end, what do? They think that their final goal is what? To merge into the impersonal Brahmajyoti. But there are some ignanis who, if they are honest, they go further. So understand that after understanding that they are the soul, they understand that the soul cannot by itself survive. It is dependent on something, and that something is the super soul. That is the supreme personality of Godhead, Krishna. And then once they understand that, next step they do is they try to serve Krishna. Okay, that is what karma yoga. What do they do in karma yoga? They serve Krishna. Okay, so from Sankhya they come to Karma Yoga, and obviously both the results is what? Serving Krishna. So that's what Krishna is trying to say. But the sad part is generally the Jnanis, they stop only at impersonal Brahman. But if they are sincere and honest, they understand that they are the soul, and the soul is not is always dependent on something. It cannot be independent. So it depends on super soul, that is Krishna, who is the supreme personality of Godhead, and then they try to serve Krishna. That is Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga means do some work for Krishna, right? They do Karma Yoga. So finally, the path actually for Krishna, it is supposed to come to serving Krishna. But the thing is that these jnanis, they only stop at the impersonal Brahma Jyoti and they restrict that. But actually, really, in reality, both should lead to worshipping of Krishna. So that is what Krishna is saying. If you either do Sankhya, finally you will come to serving Krishna. If you do Karma Yoga, then you will come to serving Krishna. So both paths, either one you take, final destination is you'll be serving Krishna. So that is the goal of life. Okay, so that's what Krishna is trying to say in this shloka. Hare Krishna Mataji, can you please read the fifth shloka, Mataji? It's written as 5.4, but it is 5.5.
Okay, Mataji.
Yeah, please, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Yat Sankhyaih prapyade sthanam tat yoger abhigamyate. Egam Sankyam cha yogam cha yah pashyati sa pashyati.
Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna. One translation: one who knows that the position reached by means of analytical study can also be attained by devotional service, and who therefore sees analytical study and devotional service to be on the same level, sees things as they are.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah. So here, what are they saying? A person who understands that both the philosophical study, that is Sankhya. Sankhya means what? Understanding the soul. That is soul and body are different. Okay, so we understand we are soul, and the soul is dependent on the super soul through knowledge, through jnana. And devotional service, karma yoga, lead to the same spiritual goal. So they're saying that person sees everything correctly. So both paths, Sankhya and Karma Yoga, they aim at the same result. What is that? To realize that we are spirit souls, we are not the body, okay? And to connect ourselves with Krishna. That is the end thing. To connect ourselves with Krishna, the Supreme Spirit. So we have to serve Krishna. That is the end result. So initially we come to know that we are spirit souls, not the body. And in the end, what is the end result? We serve Krishna. We do end up doing devotional service. So the only difference is how they actually appear. See, actually, this Sankhya, it looks like. See. So the way they look is different. So only thing is that Sankhya means what? Knowledge. It looks like it is detachment from matter. The Sankhya, the Jnanis, they think if they stay in this material world, they will get what do you say? They will get attached to everything, and when you get attached, you will have a good or a bad reaction. So when you have a good or a bad reaction, your spiritual path will go down. See, when will your spiritual progress go up? If you become akarma, right? So they get scared. That's why they want to detach everything from matter. So Sankhya is what? Detachment from matter. Okay? So they understand, but they understand that we belong to Krishna. And what is Karma Yoga? Karma Yoga is attachment to Krishna's work. Here, what do devotees do? They don't get scared away from matter. In fact, whatever is there in this material world, they know that this is Krishna's, and they engage everything in this material world in the service of Krishna. So there is not much difference. So if you see they are getting detached from matter, devotees are getting attached to Krishna. So they are not different. The purpose is same. Why are they detaching from matter? So that they can get connected to Krishna, right? Because they wanted to become akarma. That's why they are detaching from matter. And devotees, they are getting attached to Krishna so that they can serve, use everything in this material world to serve Krishna. So the goal of both is same. Whether one is detaching from matter, and the devotees, they are attached to Krishna, they are both, they are not different. They both lead to the same truth. So if someone sees this unity, they see reality. That's what they are trying to say. So our goal is what Prabhupada says, our goal is simply not to detach from the world. And also what we should do, it is to attach to Krishna. So that is real renunciation. So detached from the, you have to detach from the world. What the Sankhya people are doing, they're just detaching from the world. Okay. And and later they are attaching to Krishna. But the devotees, initially they get attached to Krishna and they serve the Lord. So that is real renunciation. Just not saying that, oh, this is this is Maya, I don't want to do. So many people say, asked Prabhupada, see Prabhupada, you are wearing a golden, very costly watch, you are roaming in costly cars, so you're a sannyasi, you should not use all these things. But he says that my disciples, they treat me as equal to God. So God should be given the best treatment. So that's why I wear all these things, just to satisfy them. Otherwise, actually, I'm not interested. For me, staying under a tree is equal to staying in a palace. For me, anything is okay. But since my disciples, they wanted to give me the best treatment because they see me on an equal level with God, that's why I deserve the best respect. So that's why Prabhupada said like that. Okay. So our goal should be simply, that's why it's just not, we don't get detached from the world, but we get attached to Krishna also. Okay. So now let's see what next is said. See the difference between Gnana and Karma Yoga. Okay. In Gnana, we see neither hates nor desires fruits. See, they don't want any sense gratification. So neither hates, here also neither hates nor desires fruits. Okay, he does everything for the satisfaction of Krishna. So he never expects any result from the activity that they do. So free from dualities. So devotees are also free from dualities. Like they don't no cold, hot, or lightness, darkness, hatred, and what do you say? All those dualities are not there. They are free from all dualities. Then liberated. They are liberated. Devotees are also liberated in the end, because when you serve Krishna, you get liberated, right? Automatically, you get liberated. And these jnanis, what do? They merge into the impersonal Brahman and they get liberation. And the jnanis, they come to understand that he's soul, not his body, and becomes detached from matter. And what do the devotees do? They come to understand that he is soul, not his body, and they become attached to working for Krishna. See, the jnanis, they become detached from matter. The devotees, they become attached to working for Krishna. Okay, that is the only difference. But finally, both the goal is finally in the end to serve Krishna. Okay, there is no difference. See here, Prabhupada says Sankhya and devotional service. In the first process, Sankhya, one has to become detached from matter, and in devotional yoga process, one has to attach himself to the work of Krishna consciousness. So he uses everything in the material. Instead of detaching himself from the material world, the devotees, they use that same material world in the service of Krishna. Okay, so factually both processes are the same, although superficially one process appears to involve detachment. So detachment from matter, material world, and the other process is attachment to Krishna. Okay, detachment from matter and attachment to Krishna are one and the same. So one who can see these things, see as they are. Okay, this is very, yeah. Hare Krishna. Mataji, can you please read the 6th shloka, Mataji?
Hare Krishna Madaji. Yes.
Mataji, you're clear, right? With the both the shlokas till now, you understood, right?
Yeah, very
Yeah.
well, very well, Madaji.
Yeah,
Understood.
perfect.
Clear.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. Please.
Hare Krishna. Shloka 6. Sanyasastu mahabaho dukham aptam ayo
Tum.
aptum
Huh.
aptum ayogataha yoga yukto munir brahma najirena adhigachati.
Hari bol.
Hare
Wonderful.
Krishna. Okay, translation: merely renouncing all activities, yet not engaging in the devotional service of the Lord cannot make one happy. But a thoughtful person engaged in devotional service can achieve the supreme without delay.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare
So
Krishna.
here, the same thing, previous continuation, they are saying, see, we should just not detach ourselves from this material world, but we should attach to Krishna. We should get attached to Krishna. Getting attached to Krishna means we have to do devotional service to, we have to work for Krishna. Okay, only when we do devotional service to Krishna will we be happy. Because when can we get actually we work in this world, in the material world also. Why? To get happiness. Everybody wants happiness in some way or the other. That's why they go to, they find, they try to see where I'll be happy when I go to a movie, when I go to a restaurant, or when I go to a party, when I go to a spiritual discourse, or like what, where if I go, where will I find happiness? To a shopping mall, to an ice cream parlor, or where? So we keep on searching for happiness. So the real happiness, all the happiness that we see in this material world is temporary. But the real happiness comes when we connect ourselves to Krishna. That is when we do devotional service to Krishna, when we work for Krishna. Then we are like in a blissful state, not even happy. We are in bliss. Bliss means what? It increases. Happiness increasing day by day, because our swarupa is, we are jivera swarupa hoy krishnera nityadas. So by nature, our nature is to serve the Lord. So we can find happiness only when we serve the Lord. Okay, so only just giving up the detachment from matter is not, will not make us happy. As many of them think that we leave our responsibilities, duties, go to the forest and meditate, that will not give us happiness, because the soul by nature is very active. It cannot just sit dull like that. The soul is very active. So active means what? We have to engage it. So the soul finds happiness where? When it's serving the Lord. Okay, so only when we work for Krishna, also we will advance in Krishna, in bhakti. Okay, actually there are two types of sannyasis. The Mayavadi sannyasis, okay, they simply, what do? These Mayavadi sannyasis, they try to renounce and speculate about Brahman. So we saw these different gnanis, right? They detach themselves from matter. They leave all their duties and responsibilities. They renounce everything, their family, everything, their property, wealth, everything, the material sense gratification, everything they renounce, and they come to the forest, and there they read the Upanishads and Vedas by themselves, and they speculate, oh, it could be like this, oh, it could be like this, and then they create, and they say the final they have to merge into the, they create their own philosophies, because they have no guru to guide, so they create their own philosophies. They think that finally, by meditating, we'll merge in, God has no form, we will merge into the impersonal Brahman, and we will become one with God, and we will lose our individuality. So that's what they think. That is first category, Mayavadi sannyasis. Second category is Vaishnava sannyasis. What do they do? Vaishnavas are the devotees of ISKCON. So they serve Krishna through devotional activities. So you see the devotee of Krishna in ISKCON, you see, right, devotees are not just sitting and meditating always. They are 24 hours almost. If you see, they are working very hard. In fact, more than karmis, they are working. So some people do book distribution, some people prasadam distribution, some go on sankirtan, some preach. So something or the other they are doing. Some garland making seva, some dressing the deities, preparing ornaments for the deities, cooking for the Lord, lordships, abhishekam seva. So many things. They're continuously doing something or the other for the Lord. So that is Vaishnava sannyas. Okay, so Krishna prefers active devotional life. He does not want a dry renunciation. Okay, and basically these Mayavadis, they fall into trouble. Earlier also many times we discussed, because why they fall into trouble, because they study the Vedas and these Upanishads. Their study is dry. It is very dry. There is no, it's not joyful at all. They cannot taste loving devotional service. Their minds become so much reading they will do, that they become frustrated and tired. How much can we read? Huh? The Vedas hardly, see, for us, if we try to read Prabhupada books itself, for half an hour is a big deal for us. Okay, these Gnanis, they keep on reading, and finally they get frustrated and they get tired of reading. That's why that's why they have a high chance of falling back into the material activities. That's why they come back, and they open institutions like schools, hospitals, all these. Okay, like charity. They come back and do charity on all this social work. Okay, so that's why they're saying, when the heart is filled with Krishna, the material is not filled with Krishna. Okay, the material desires come back. Okay, like how we saw, right, these Gnanis, they are just gaining knowledge, that their soul, or whatever they are reading, dry speculation. They think, oh, it could be like this, it could be like that, we will merge into impersonal realm. They are just creating their own philosophies with no Krishna in between. So that's why, because they don't have Krishna, there is a high chance of falling back, and they will come back to their old ways. So these material desires, they don't go away. These material desires go away only when you engage your senses in the service of Krishna. That is the only way. Otherwise, it's very difficult to control sense gratification. Okay. And here, Prabhupada also says, why devotional service is superior compared to Sankhya? Why? It gives happiness and constant engagement. Okay, it gives us happiness when we go in, when we go into Sankirtan, we can see devotees happily singing, dancing, how happy they are. Now the prasadam that we have, it's so tasty, right? And the pastimes of the Lord Krishna is naughty. He does Markanchor pastimes, all these pastimes. He kills all the demons, different stories, leelas. We hear it's so pleasing to the ears. It's full of rasa, right? To enjoy the pastimes of Krishna. So all this brings us happiness. Okay, and constant engagement, right? We are not like forcefully restricting our senses. No, 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 I don't want to eat this. No, 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 I don't want to do this. I don't want to see this. Nothing like that. We are not restricting. In fact, we are happily engaging all our senses, our eyes, nose, tongue, everything in service of Krishna. Tongue also, if we feel like eating something, we will eat. But first, we will offer it to Krishna and then we will have. We don't say, don't eat this, don't eat that. Eat everything. But first, offer to Krishna and then have it as prasadam. Okay, and you engage your eyes in seeing the beautiful form of Krishna, in smelling the nose, in smelling the flowers that are offered to Krishna, tongue in tasting Krishna prasadam, ears in hearing Krishna katha. So we engage all our senses like that. There is continuous engagement. Hands, we do some of the other seva, cooking seva or go seva or some any one of the seva. So we are busy. So every action is done for Krishna. It brings us purification. So it purifies everything, our body, senses, mind, everything, because it's engaged in the service of Krishna. So it guarantees what? Ultimate liberation and spiritual progress. So there is no fall down because the heart is filled with Krishna. So devotional service means real positive renunciation. That is the real positive renunciation. When you engage everything, all your senses, mind, body, everything in the service of Krishna. So, but same destination. See, both Sankhya and Karma Yoga, same destination only, but faster. Devotional service is faster. See, even Mayavadis, they reach Krishna, but after many, many births. But a devotee, he reaches Krishna quickly because he's connected directly with him through his service. Okay, the devotee is directly serving the Lord, right? In his Archamurti, through our mind, body, and senses, he is daily serving Krishna. So he has a chance that he can go in this Janma itself. But a Mayavadi, it takes many, many Janmas and births for him to reach Krishna. So that's why when we know that, see, that's why Prabhupada says, why take so many births? Choose Krishna now itself, na? Do devotional service and go back to Krishna in this birth only. Why do you want, when you know that after many, many births also, finally you have to choose Krishna, why don't you choose Krishna now itself? That's what Prabhupada is saying. Be intelligent, wise, and choose Krishna now and do devotional service and go back to Krishna in this Janma only. Why do you want to wait for many Janmas? Okay, so that's why Krishna is telling, don't run away from this world. In the sense, he's saying, don't renounce, detached from the world, but serve Krishna in the world. Okay, stay in this material world, use everything, and serve Krishna using all those things. Just don't get detached only, but use those things in the service of Krishna. Okay, so let's go to the 7th shloka. So 7th is 7 to 12 is like how to perform Nishkama Karma Yoga. Okay, that now Krishna is talking more about Nishkama Karma Yoga, where you perform your work without any attachment to results. Okay, one performing Nishkama Karma Yoga identifies neither with his body nor the activity that his body performs. Okay, working with detachment, performance of Nishkama Karma Yoga. Okay, one performing Nishkama Karma Yoga identifies neither with this body. Why? Because he thinks he's the soul, nor the activities that his body performs. Okay, he thinks that okay, because the body, because the soul needs a via media, right, where it can do devotional activities. So that he thinks that's why the body is there. Okay, so he knows that he's not the body, he's the soul, and the body is just there to facilitate this action. Okay, so by his detached actions, he's freed from the reaction of his activities. Okay, so we earlier also we said, right, it's all a matter of consciousness. From outside, when looked at, a devotee and a non-devotee are doing the same thing, but it's the matter of consciousness, right? See, even to look that a devotee also eats and the non-devotee also eats. But actually, the consciousness, in the consciousness, the devotee is offering the food to Krishna, but the non-devotee, he is not offering. In fact, he is eating it for his sense gratification. So it is just a matter of consciousness. Okay. So Nishkama Karma Yoga, perfect knowledge. He knows I am not material body, I am soul. I am part and parcel of Krishna, Supreme Lord, and I want to render service to Him. So I will work in a detached spirit. Okay. So who is a Nishkama Karma Yogi? Who is he? He is a servant of God. Nishkama Karma Yogi means he has no desire except and except only to serve Krishna, to please Krishna. He is only interested in activities of Krishna. He will do anything to please Krishna. And what work does he do? Only work allotted to Krishna, to God. That is only work a Nishkama Karma Yogi does. And how does he do the work? I work hard with sincerity, dedication to the best of my ability. So that's what Krishna says, right? Do your duty to the 100%. You just give your sincere effort, 100%, to the best of your ability. And what about the result? Is Krishna says, you don't worry about the result. You just put your 100% and leave the result to me. Okay, he hands over the result to God. He's not bothered whether there's profit, loss, and everything. He knows that Krishna will take care. Okay, so he leaves the results to God. So Krishna consciousness and bodily consciousness. So steadily devoted soul offers the results to me. Okay, so Nishkama Karma Yogi, he does his duty to the 100% and he offers the results to Krishna. Okay, others are greedy for fruits of labor, result in entanglement. But those who don't give the results to Krishna but want it for themselves, for their own sense gratification, they are stuck in entanglement in this material world because they will have good or bad karma. So to suffer or enjoy that karma, they have to come back. That's why they get entangled in this material world, in the cycle of birth and death. Okay. So now let's see Shloka 5.7. Please read Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Hare
Okay,
Krishna.
Mataji. Sloka 7. Yoga Yukto Vishuddhatma Vijitatma Jidendriyaha Sarva Bhudatma Kurvan Abhi Na Lipyade.
Very bol. Wonderful, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Shall I continue?
Yeah, please, Mataji.
One who works in devotion, who is a pure soul, and who controls his mind and senses is dear to everyone, and everyone is dear to him. Though always working, such a man is never entangled.
Hare Krishna. Thank you,
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna.
Yeah. Okay, so here a person who works for Krishna with full devotion becomes pure in heart and controlled in mind and senses. Why? Because he sees every living entity as connected to Krishna. Like how? See, like all the leaves are connected to the root of a tree. See, the whole body is nourished when the food goes to the stomach. See, if you just give food to the stomach, the whole body gets nourished. And if you just water the root of the tree, the whole tree gets nourished. So, like that, when we just serve Krishna, everyone is benefited. Just by serving Krishna, everyone is benefited. So, therefore, everyone naturally becomes pleased with such a devotee. So, if we just please Krishna, we will please everybody. Okay, just by watering the root, you are giving full nourishment to the whole tree. You don't have to separately water it to the branches, trunk, the stem, or flower, fruit, leaves. You don't have to water. Just root, whole tree is nourished. Like that, if you just please Krishna, everybody is pleased. Okay, so that is what they say, they're trying to say here. And a devotee, he likes to listen to topics like he wants to only hear only Krishna related topics. He eats only Krishna prasadam. He goes only to places related to Krishna, and he uses all his senses only in devotional service. Why? Because his mind is fully fixed on Krishna. So his senses are automatically controlled, and such a person becomes what? He becomes dear to everyone. He becomes peaceful, never offensive. He's never bound by karma. See, that's the main thing, right? Uh, we want to become peaceful, okay, in this world. So that is why the only way how we can achieve peace is by doing devotional service to Krishna, by engaging all our body, mind, and senses in the service of Krishna. So everything becomes, mind becomes steady, senses become peaceful, so we become peaceful. Okay, so even if the devotee externally appears to fight or work, like for example, like Arjuna, he appears to be fighting, he appears to be doing something material, but there is no sin and no reaction. Why? Just because he is fighting on the order of Krishna. He is not doing to please his senses. Actually, Arjuna doesn't want to like to fight. But why he fought? To please Krishna. Because Krishna wanted him to fight. So that's why there is no sin. There is no karma. Okay, so what we have to understand is work done with love for Krishna, it never creates bondage, it creates liberation. Okay, so example is like to understand better, see, mother cooking for her children versus cooking for Krishna. See, if a mother cooks every day, and but still she feels stressed and tired, but when she cooks first for Krishna and offers it with devotion, what happens? The same action becomes devotional service. There is joy instead of burden. The food becomes prasadam and purifies the whole family. So it's just the same consciousness. See, when she cooks for the family, it becomes material. She is cooking for, they are cooking for their sense gratification. But the same lady, if she is cooking and then she offers it to Krishna and serves it to the whole family as prasadam, then it purifies the whole family, right? It's the same action but different consciousness and completely different result. See, for example, that you see a student studying. Okay, he if you see a material student, he is studying only for marks. So what is the result? End result? He is fearful, pressure is there, his comparison is there. But if you see a devotee, he studies it. He's studying as an offering to Krishna. So why? To use knowledge in service of Krishna. So that's why he becomes peaceful. He's not bothered. He's not competing. He's not fearful because he wants to use his education in the service of Krishna. His focus is different. He is not studying to be competent. That's why he doesn't have this pressure, fear, anything. Okay, that's why he's peaceful. So his mind is focused, improved. He has no ego, no stress, nothing. So what? So when Krishna becomes the center, even school work becomes spiritual. See, everything, to look it is like material and the spiritual is both the same. It's just a matter of consciousness. When you work for Krishna, it's different. You become spiritual. It becomes peaceful. There is no envy, competition, fear, stress. All this is not there. Take the example of job. Okay, generally a material person, he is working just to earn money. Okay, and then he will have competition, right? When you work in a job place, you'll have competition, you'll have anxiety, many problems, attachment you'll have to the job. Okay, but a devotee, see, even it looks like he's working, but when he offers the results to Krishna. Okay, so what he does means he does only honest work, he does no cheating, he uses the earnings for Krishna service. For Krishna conscious activities, he uses his money, like for temple seva or something like that. So, devotee becomes dear to all because he lives for everyone's benefit. So, he's in the job also, you saw, right? How does everything honestly. The material person, he does, I mean, there are chances that he does black market and everything. Okay, he may cheat. So a devotee doesn't cheat, he's honest, he uses his earnings in Krishna's service. So he becomes peaceful. He's not bothered about competing. He's happy with the amount of money that he gets. Part of it he uses for Krishna's service, part of it he uses it for his family needs. Okay, so next, let's go to 8, 9 shloka, Mataji. Yeah, please read the 8 to 9, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. Hare
Yeah.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
नैव किञ्चित् करोमीति युक्तो मन्येत तत्त्ववित् पश्यन् शृण्वन् स्पृशन् जिघ्रन् अश्नन् गच्छन् स्वपन् श्वसन् प्रलपन् विसृजन् गृह्णन् उन्मिषन् निमिषन् अपि इन्द्रियाणीन्द्रियार्थेषु वर्तन्त इति धारयन्.
Hari Bol. Wonderful, wonderful, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. A person in the divine consciousness, although engaged in seeing, hearing, touching, smelling, eating, moving about, sleeping, and breathing, always knows within himself that he actually does nothing at all. Because while speaking, evacuating, receiving or opening or closing his eyes, he always knows that only the material senses are engaged with their objects and that he is
Aloof from them.
aloof from them.
Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Yeah. So let's see what they're talking about here. See, a person who is fully Krishna conscious, he understands that I am not this body, I am the soul. So even though he sees or hears or smells or eats or walks, sleeps or talks, he knows the body and the senses are doing their natural work. Okay, it is not the soul. He thinks I am only serving Krishna through this body. Okay, so he never becomes trapped by karma. Okay, so he knows that he's just serving Krishna through this body. So this body is an instrument for him to serve Krishna. Okay, the soul by itself cannot serve Krishna, right? The soul needs a via medium. So, and this human body, they're using it to serve Krishna. Okay, so why is he never bound by karma? See, ordinary people, they use their senses for sense enjoyment. See, they say that I want to taste this, I want to see this, I want to enjoy this. A devotee, he uses his senses only for Krishna's enjoyment. He hears only Krishna's glories, speaks only Krishna's message, sees only Krishna's form, eats only Krishna prasadam. He walks to the temple. Okay, therefore his mind becomes pure because everything, all his mind, body, senses are engaged in serving Krishna. So that's why his mind becomes pure. So no sinful reactions, no entanglement. Okay, that's the reason. See, if you can see we'll see some examples. See, two people are cleaning a temple. See, one for salary, the same temple they are cleaning, both are cleaning. So one is cleaning for salary, so that is material work, but one is doing for Krishna's pleasure, it's spiritual service. See, externally it may look that both are doing the same thing, but their change in consciousness is different. See, one is doing the seva, one is working materially for salary, other one is doing to please Krishna. See, both are cleaning the temple. One is doing to please Krishna, other is doing it for salary. So difference is there only in the consciousness. See, if you see, for example, you're you're eating. So materialist also eats for tongue enjoyment. Okay, he eats for his own sense gratification. So there is karma. But devotee, what he does, he first offers it to Krishna and then has it as prasadam. So there's no karma. So same action, but a different result. Okay, and next you see one more example, speaking. See, generally many people they do gossip about film news, cricket, sports, politics, all serials, movie, whatnot, friends, relatives. You keep talking gossip. That creates bondage. Okay, but when devotee hears Harikatha, it is purifying. Okay, so the devotee carefully uses the tongue only to please Krishna. Okay, so when we stop thinking that I am the doer and start thinking Krishna is the doer and I am only his servant, then all actions become spiritual and we remain free from karma. We should never think that I am the doer. I want this. Everything in this material world is for my satisfaction. I am doing everything. That is why my family, my house is running. So we should not be under this misconception. But when we understand that everything happens by the will of Krishna, Krishna is the doer. I am just a servant. You should think that I am the guardian. See, this is not my house. Devotees, some pure devotees, they say, this is not my house. This is Krishna's house. I am just a guardian for this house. That's how they introduce themselves. Okay, so that is the consciousness that we should have. Okay, so now let's go to the next shloka, 9th shloka, 10th Mataji, last shloka for the day. We just finished this, Mataji. Can you please read, Mataji?
Okay. Because now my mouse got stuck up, Madaji. That's why. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, please, Mataji.
Shloka 10. Brahmanya, Brahmanya, Adhyaya,
Adhaya.
Adhaya Karmani,
Karmani.
Karmani, Samgam त्यक्त्वा करोति यः लिप्यते न स पापेन पद्मपत्रम् इवाम्भसा.
Hari Bol, Hari
Hare
Bol.
Krishna.
Yeah.
One who performs his duty without attachment, surrendering the results unto the Supreme Lord, is unaffected by sinful action, as the lotus leaf is untouched by water.
Hare Krishna. Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna.
Yeah. So here they're giving an analogy of a lotus leaf. See, a lotus leaf, it lives in the water, but water never sticks to it. Similarly, a devotee, he lives in this material world, but material reactions never stick to him because he offers everything to Krishna. Okay, see, we should understand a person who performs his duty without attachment, offers all the results to Krishna, he becomes completely free from sin. Okay, see, even if the duty, whatever work that he's performing is very tough, intense, like job, family, study, household work, there is no karma. when it is done for Krishna. So we saw, right, how earlier studying or cooking or doing job is not, there is no karma for a devotee, because why? He offers everything to Krishna. So there is no karma when you do everything for Krishna, even your job, your studies, whatever be it. When you do it for Krishna, there is no bondage, there is no karma. Why no karma? Because the devotee knows everything belongs to Krishna. See, this body is also given by Krishna. So all actions and results should be for Krishna. So he knows that he is not the enjoyer. He knows Krishna is the enjoyer. See, for example, you see two students studying. See, one studies. I want the material person, material student. I want name that he. Why do we study generally? I want name, money, success. So that's why what happens to him? Karma is there because I want. He's saying I want name, money, success. For that he will do anything. That's why he will get some karma. So he will have to take stress, but devotee also he studies. What does he think? Let me use this knowledge to serve Krishna. Then what? No karma. He is peaceful. He has no karma, no stress, nothing. Only for the sake of Krishna he is doing it. Not for some competition or some other thing he is studying. Right? He is thinking, okay, let me gain this knowledge. I will, when I finish this, I will use it in the service of Krishna. So that's why he is peaceful. He has no karma. So same action, different consciousness and different result. And cooking at home. See, one cooks for family enjoyment. When they cook for family enjoyment, there is karma, obviously. Because when you're cooking, you're cooking for your sense gratification. So there'll be some karma. Okay, but a devotee, he cooks for Krishna. And he offers it to Krishna and then he has it as prasadam. Therefore, there's no karma. And the kitchen also becomes a temple because you're cooking for Krishna. Okay, and likewise we saw, right, doing job and earning money. So the material person, he says this is my salary, he says, and then he uses it for his sense gratification, his family. So which is karma? There is karma. But a devotee, he says, okay, this money is given by Krishna's, so this money I have to use in his service, and so he uses most of it in the service of Krishna. Okay, so even a big businessman can become pure if he offers his results to Krishna. Okay, see, we see Arjuna's example also. See, Arjuna, outwardly it looks like material, he's fighting the war. Okay, so it looks like as if he's performing a lot of sin by killing so many people. But he's sinless. Why? Because he's fighting this war because Krishna wanted it. But if we do anything for Krishna, it becomes akarma. There is no karma. Okay, so what do we understand? We don't have to give up work. We need to give up the idea of ourselves as the enjoyer. See, we should never. We generally we think if we do work, there'll be some karma, bad or good reactions. No, we should do work, but whom should we work for? We should work for Krishna. Then there will be no karma. We should not think that we are the enjoyer. We should think that Krishna is the enjoyer. Then there will be no karma. There will be no bondage. Okay, so we can stay in family life and still be pure, like a lotus leaf in water. Okay, so without Krishna, every action creates karma. With Krishna, every action becomes bhakti. So devotee is always engaged in Krishna's service. So karma cannot touch him, like a lotus flower. Okay, like lotus flower in water. Okay, it is not touched by water, like that. He also does all work, but for Krishna's pleasure, and that's why no bondage. Okay, so that's the thing for today. We'll stop here, Mataji.
Mother, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.